Hi, dear Toastmasters, guests, and friends. Happy New Year. New Year, new you. What new are you going to do this year? Welcome to District 31's Open Heart with District 31. On our talk show this morning, we have a Toastmaster who's a distinguished Toastmaster. Distinguished Toastmaster is the highest educational and leadership level possible at Toastmasters. A Toastmaster is the president of South Coast Toastmasters Club. Toastmaster who's passionate about her home club, someone who wants to promote Toastmasters, make sure her club gets more members, and they have an open house. If you are interested in honing your interview skills, you have an opportunity to attend their open house. Without any further ado, let me welcome my friend, Toastmaster, distinguished Toastmaster Marianne, onto our talk show. Let me add her to our talk show. Toastmaster Marianne, how are you doing?
Great. Thanks, Vera. Good to be
Toastmaster,
here.
Toastmaster Marianne, I ask all my guests one question. Where did your Toastmasters journey start? How did it start? Why did it start?
Well, I had heard about Toastmasters for years, of course, and I had done some public speaking, and I'm a performer. I used to be a singer, I was in community theater, and I love to get up in front of people actually and sing and dance, and somewhat to speak when I had something that I really cared strongly about, when I had a cause that I believed in. So I wanted to be able to do that better. And about 15 and a half years ago, I was starting my own business. And I knew that as a professional organizer, so helping people organize their schedules and their homes and their offices. And I knew that as part of that, I wanted to teach adult ed classes and I wanted to give speeches about getting organized because I thought that would be an important part of how I could contribute to people. But I had never taken any classes about speaking or really learned anything except what I had observed and read about. So I decided to go to a Toastmasters meeting. And I went to my first Toastmasters meeting. It was in Falmouth, Massachusetts, on the Cape where I live. And I was just so impressed. For one thing, I was impressed by how organized it was, the structure of the meeting, which is still pretty much the same, and that everyone got an opportunity to talk and that people were so friendly, but also that there was a lot to learn. So that's where I started. I joined Upper Cape Toastmasters at the time and have just continued in Toastmasters for the past 15 and a half years.
Congratulations on 15 years, Toastmaster Marianne. That's a long time.
Yeah.
There's a reason why you joined Toastmasters, but there's would be another reason what keeps you at Toastmasters. Even after 15 years, I see passion in you for Toastmasters. Where that passion comes from and what keeps you at Toastmasters.
Well, I love the people that I meet at Toastmasters. And what I think I love most is their courage. The fact that we're all here to get better and that I was going to say we're not afraid to show it, but we often are afraid to show what we don't know, but we get up and do it anyway. And to me, that's just very inspiring to see that people are willing to really work at something to get better at things and to help each other. And in 15 years, I've gotten better at public speaking and in my leadership skills. I actually became a professional speaker as a result of being in Toastmasters and joined the National Speakers Association as well. And I became president of the New England chapter of the National Speakers Association. So it's something where you can grow in Toastmasters and still stay a member and still practice the things that you need to do and get feedback, which you don't get other places. And you get the opportunity also to help other people. And I love that. I've always, in my career, that's been something I've always done. And I get the opportunity to do that a lot in Toastmasters in different leadership roles. I've been a club coach for 2 different clubs and help them get on their feet or get going, get to the next level. And I've been an officer and in all those roles, and especially as mentor of individual members, I just get to help other people to get the same benefits that I've gotten out of Toastmasters. And for me, that just feels really good. And I enjoy it, and I continue to be inspired by people there.
Amazing, Toastmasters Maryann. The ability to give back to the society what you've learned to empower others is truly a leadership quality. Now we move to our second stage, Toastmaster Maryann, is the impact of Toastmasters on your personal life, professional life, social and spiritual life. You said you had a business. Did the leadership elements of Toastmasters help there? Any instance that you like to share? The impact of Toastmasters.
Yeah, I think the clubs need leaders, organizations need leaders, Toastmasters needs leaders at every level because we're a volunteer organization. So, and I've been a part of other volunteer organizations before. I was also president of the Boston chapter of National Organization for Women, and I've done other things. Again, I think the thing in Toastmasters is you get lots of opportunities to serve as a leader, but also you get feedback and you get encouragement from the program itself to look at your own leadership skills and the areas where you're not so skilled, and to get help from other people in figuring out how to be a better leader. I was on the board of the National Association of Professional Organizers, and I was doing I believe it was my DTM project, and it was about, so you had to do something in a leadership capacity. And so I decided to help with NAPO's developing some training materials. And so I gathered together a committee, and I would normally do that. Although actually normally I would do much more of it myself. So Toastmasters encouraged me to get more other people involved, which I did, but it also gave me the opportunity to have a leadership committee that I reported to and checked in with, and they gave me feedback and suggestions about how to lead that committee more effectively. So that was, an important learning experience for me, partly that I don't have to do it all myself, but also that I can get help when I have a leadership challenge or just when I'm trying to do my best as a leader.
D for delegation, something we have to do it. Thank you, Toastmaster Maryann. Now, South Coast Toastmasters is having an open house. Now, what would you like to tell about the open house, and why should someone join Toastmasters and South Coast Toastmasters? Toastmaster Maryann.
Okay, well, we're very excited about this open house, and we decided to create a theme for it, which was about interviewing skills, because we were thinking about who are the people who could really use Toastmasters. And one group is anyone who's looking for a new job or looking for a promotion within their current job. And especially these days with the great resignation, as they've called it, a lot of people are reevaluating where they are with their work, their professional lives, and deciding to try something different. So in order to get something different, very often some form of interviewing is part of the process. So we thought this would be something that would be really valuable to a lot of people and really relevant to the current times. So we brought in the open house is tomorrow, Thursday, January 12th, from noon to 1, and we're going to be located at the Wareham Free Library in Wareham, but also on Zoom, so people can Zoom in. And we brought in Larry Ellie, who's a licensed clinical social worker, and he was also the person who helped me 15 years ago when I was about to start this new business. He ran a success group, a career success group that I attended for about 6 months, and it was really helpful to me. So he's an expert. He's a nationally certified expert on career counselor and career transition counselor. So he's somebody who's really good at knowing how to do an interview or do all the different things you need to get a new job. And so I asked him to come join us and speak about the top tips for when you're doing an interview. And we're all, but it's going to be a regular Toastmasters meeting as well. He's going to be our guest speaker and have a longer time to speak. But during table topics, for example, we're going to talk about interview questions. So for the table topics questions, I'll be asking questions about, like, what are your goals in 5 years from now, or what are your biggest job strengths? And so people will have visitors as well as members will have the opportunity to participate in that and to practice giving answers to typical interview questions and also get some feedback on it. One of the things I think about South Coast Toastmasters that I love so much is, for one thing, it's a great group of people, but it's a small group. We're still pretty small. We've always been kind of small, and it's a lunchtime group, so it's just an hour. So it's not a huge commitment, but I think the good thing especially for other Toastmasters who might want to add another club, is that you get a lot of opportunities to speak. Sometimes with the bigger clubs, you have to wait to be able to give a speech or to participate. But in a smaller club, there's a lot of opportunity for leadership development and leadership opportunities, but also just to be able to speak and give speeches and move ahead on your paths a lot more quickly than in a club where there are a lot of people.
Thank you, Toastmaster Maryann. I think listening to you, I can at least tell 3 things. If you want a mentor like Toastmaster Maryann, join South Coast Toastmasters. If you want an opportunity to give speeches and evaluations, join South Coast Toastmasters. And just if you want to start a new business as well, join this club and you learn few techniques from the mentors. Otherwise, it's hard to find mentors out there, but it's a great opportunity to Toastmasters. Yes, join South Coast Toastmasters and make the most of it. Thank you, Toastmaster Maryann. Now,
Thank you.
we move on to our final section, which is called our rapid fire round. Are you ready for some fun?
I guess so. I read a lot. I read probably 6 or 7 books a month. So hard to pick one, but there was one book that had a very big impact on me about 5 years ago. It's called Mini Habits by Stephen Guise. And it's all about how, you can set goals, which is great, but what's really important is to develop habits of doing the things that will bring you growth every day. And it changed my life. I've been exercising pretty much every day since I started that book, which is unheard of for me. That had always been a New Year's resolution, and I never ever went through with it past February. But since reading that book, I play the piano every day. I study Spanish every day. I have a whole list of things, and by making them habits, it makes them just a part of my life, and I don't have to think about them or worry about them, but I keep making progress.
Amazing. And when you achieve the habit for the day, you feel accomplished.
Absolutely.
Thank you for sharing that. Toastmaster Maryann, a historic speech that is very close to your heart. Any speech that comes to your mind?
One that came to mind was the inaugural speech for John F. Kennedy. I was born in 1952, so he was becoming president in my young years, and I just found him so inspiring. He was very smart, but also funny when he spoke, and although not in the inaugural speech, but he talked about things like, all this will not be finished in the first 100 days or the first 1,000 days, but let us begin. So I just thought it was a very powerful speech about how success works, about how progress works, that it isn't about just setting the grand goals, but about beginning together. So I found that very inspiring.
Thank you, Toastmaster Maryann. Now, a historic leader, I can draw some assumptions, but I would like to ask a historic leader that inspires you.
Well, JFK, and I grew up Irish Catholic, and he was the first Irish Catholic president. And so he was very big in my household. I actually saw him,
Wow,
probably 8 years old or something at a train station, the
amazing.
whistle stop on his, campaign. But also Susan B. Anthony, because she was someone who, I've been very involved with the women's movement, and just the courage that she showed to go and fight for equal rights for women for the vote, and to go and be arrested by, for trying to vote. I, I think again, there's a lot of courageous people that we can learn from, and those are obviously very different styles, her versus JFK, um, but but that's what's great about Toastmasters too, is that you learn that there are a lot of different styles, and you can draw from multiple sources and find what your style is, and then use that to help change the world.
Amazing choice, Toastmaster Marianne. Now, a favorite food that is close to your palate.
Chocolate, anything chocolate. I
Amazing.
love chocolate. Russell Stover chocolates are my favorite. There's one with coconut mixed into the chocolate, but yeah, that's my husband gives me a box of Russell Stover chocolates for my birthday every year and for our anniversary, and best present ever.
Those are yummy. I can swift through in a
Yeah.
half an hour. Those are yummy. A favorite restaurant, Toastmaster Marianne, where you try to go and relax and have some good time.
Actually, my favorite restaurant is called Tuka. It's in Grand Cayman. My husband and I go to the Cayman Islands once a year for a winter vacation, and it's run by an Australian team. And but the great thing about it, it's on the beach. You can actually, sit at a table on the sand on the beach,
Wow.
and they have a wonderful trio that plays music. They're from Argentina, I believe. It's a man and his two daughters. He plays the harp, and they play the violin and the guitar, and they play all kinds of music, and it's just so beautiful to go on an evening, beautiful Cayman evening, 87 degrees out, and just sitting on the ocean, by the ocean, and having some Australian delicacies.
Nice. That imagining that is so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, Toastmaster Marianne. Anything else that you like to share with our Toastmasters that I have not yet asked?
It's just that, Toastmasters is a great place to meet other people and to develop your own skills, to think about who you are and what you want to accomplish in your life, and to learn some skills for how to help you do that. And whatever club you choose, I mean, we're all over the world, and I've visited a number of clubs, and there's a spirit about Toastmasters that I just find really exciting and inspiring. And whatever club you choose to go to, just check out other ones too, because there are a lot of varieties within Toastmasters about the specific culture of the group or the people who are there. And by joining several clubs, which I've done over the years, I've been a member of a number of clubs. You can you can learn different things from different people. Of course, I encourage you to come to South Coast Toastmasters because we're the best. But and we're at lunchtime on Thursday. It's not a big commitment, and it's a community club, so it's open to everyone. And we're a hybrid club, so you can join us from anywhere in the world. So I encourage you to check us out on Thursdays, and especially Thursday, January 12th, for our open house and interviewing skills masterclass.
Thank you, Toastmaster Marianne. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you choose to come down and talk to us. So thank you from the bottom of my heart.
My pleasure.
Dear Toastmasters, that was wonderful interview with distinguished Toastmaster Marianne. If you would like to come and talk to us on our talk show, please do mention your name in our comment section. Please do consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to our YouTube channel. Your love, your support encourages us to create more content for you all and bring many more interviews for all. On that note, stay safe, enjoy 2023. We'll talk to you on our next episode. Until then, bye bye.